I was going to court in Fresno County jail for kidnapping, robbery, ransom, and carjacking. Two counts of each for a guy and a girl. Two college kids who were in their 20s. So I was in county jail already, mad at the world. Fresno County Jail, main jail, has 5 floors. The majority of these pods and floors are bulldogs. Each floor has A through F pods, and FF pod considered high power. A pod was a mixture of any outsiders such as north or south would be locked down in a pod, away from the general population, the main line. F pod were all violators mostly and troublemakers. So here I was facing 2 life sentences. I've learned throughout years to maintain a good poker face, so no one could see what I was going through the inside. Inside I was dying because I knew there was no coming back from this. This time, I was losing my wife and my kids, my freedom, for good this time. My wife and my kids would come see me.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They've seen me gone before. My kids probably thinking, oh, Dad will be back home later on down the line, as I always did. But I knew not this time. Back in the pod after my visit, I had court the next day. We were up playing cards with the homies, all looking at all the other homies looking at some time also. Even for a violation, a dog, no guarantee of going home. Anything can happen. Next morning they called me for court, and me and my homeboy Kiko go together. And we're in the holding cell with 4 other guys, a couple Crips, white, and what looked like us was a paisa. Our holding door was open, and the desk got a call and hung up, then came to shut our door and locked it. So we knew someone was coming up that we didn't get along with, or that was supposed to be separated from us, being PC or north or south or whatever. And here comes this fool from WFN, West Fresno, north there. There was a few of them, undercovers from in the town. And he said, hey, what's up? And the one that we thought who was a paisa stood up and started talking to this guy, talking to each other, talking about carnal, and the K9 told him to keep walking. And the one in our pond in the holding cage sat back down. Me and the homeboy Geeko looked at each other. That was all we needed. I stood up. I always took hard candy to court with me, or to visiting. So I gave 2, one each to the Crips, and then the white guy, and then one to Geeko. And then when I got to the paisa, I said, hey, you want candy? He said, yeah, Simon. Hey, gracias. And right when he put it in his mouth, I cracked it. And I started firing on him. And my dog is right there at the same time. So we both start stomping him out. They stop it. And then they cancel our court, so they send us back to our pod. This is my second court in a row that I was sent back. Before this one, I was in a holding cell with about 10 homies, and here comes this fool Weddle in yellow, high power. He was in the county. Him and his old lady. They were fighting now. They were in there for killing their son. That's what they were in there for. So when I saw him, it just sickened me. And I remember seeing it on TV and how they found the baby in an orchard. And it just got to me. So as soon as he got close enough, I hit him in the face. hard as I could. He stumbled into the podium and just fell. And later on that week, they showed him on TV with a eye, because they showed his court on TV. And we all seen him. That night, they called me and Tico to roll up and inspect the movie. So they move us to the dungeon, Supermax, one-man cells with phones in the cells, lined up facing each other, with metal doors. So you can't see out of your window. There's a metal thing that closes it. I finally get into court, and I tell my lawyer, look, tell the DA I'll take 20 years. She said no. I said, tell her I'll take 30 years. She said no. She said no. You're getting 2 life sentences. I'm telling my lawyer, that even hurts people.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm getting more time as if I killed someone. He said, I know. So I got 2 life sentences. And you know how they say, before you die, you see everything you care about flash before your eyes? Well, I saw that. And that day I was called a monster. I got back to my cell and he said, hey, what happened, fam? I said, that's it. 2 life sentences. And I started thinking, if I'm going to spend the rest of my life in here, it's going to be worth it. It ain't going to be for no bull like this. My wife came to see me right after court. I told her. And she was crying bad. She's saying it's going to be okay. I'm saying, no, it's not. That visit was one of my hardest ones. I really had a knife with me. I told her, I'm being treated like a monster. I might as well become one. It was a hard one. I got back to my cell. We got on the phone. She sung that song to me, Somebody Loves You, by the Delphonics. It was hard. Back in Supermax, 2 guys were let out at a time, handcuffed, shackled, one at a time. Took to the recreational area. Inside there were 2 sides, 1 guy on each side. Only one could come out at a time and put on one side, and the other guy would come out and put on the other side. There was a pull-up bar, a dip bar, and a ping pong table. We were by ourselves in there. After my phone call, I cut a laundry bag to make it smaller. The reason why I cut a laundry bag is because I knew a laundry bag wouldn't bust open like a sock. There was this door stop in the cell. It was all metal. It weighed at least 4 pounds. So I started prying that off the wall. I got that off. That was going in my laundry bag. Then I have the ping pong paddle. I made an arrow, a knife. And I knew during dinner time, the CO would feed me during my recreational time when I was out of my cell. Dinner time, so who was out there at that time would get their trays. There I knew this, so come chow time, the cop would pop the door, the first door, walk into a small cage area, the little rotunda area, and then pop the door to either my cage or the other guy's cage and hand us our tray. So during that day, when he came by, or after when I came out of...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
So when I come out, they handcuffed me, shackled me, got my laundry bag, my waistband, my knife with me. And when he's giving you trays, he's supposed to tell you to go all the way to the back. It's a big recreational room. So he would have time to pop the door, put my tray inside the area before you can get to him. But the cop did not do that. He would just pop our door and hand us the tray. And I knew this. Earlier that week, homeboy Psycho came in, and the cop sprayed him and had him hog-tied with a black hood over his head. And he was saying he couldn't breathe. And we were all yelling, telling the cop to leave him alone. And it went quiet. Next thing we know, he's dead. Everyone was mad. So that added to my aggression. So I go out, get patted down, cuffed, shackled, out in my rec area. Homie on the other side. We're talking. I don't tell him what I'm about to do. I got that metal in the laundry bag, in my waistband, and a knife under my arm. And it's time for chow. The cop pops the door, comes in, and pops the homie's door first. Hands him his tray, then locks it, then pops my door. He hands me my tray, and I push him into the gate and pull out my laundry bag and start hitting him with it over his head, over and over. Each hit, I could hear him. Blood got in my eyes. I reached for my knife. I couldn't find it. And he crawled down. I followed him, kept hitting him. At this time now, there was cops all over the place. And then they start telling me to get back in the cage. Get back in the cage. I'm telling them, come on. Keep telling me to get back in the cage. Just get back in the cage. So finally, I just get back in the cage. And after they handcuffed me, took me to the elevator, threw me inside, then started kicking me. And made sure I didn't move, make a sound. And I made sure I didn't make a sound. The door opened, they lifted me up, took me to a rubber room, threw me in there naked. Later gave me a type of Velcro type looking dress to put on. I wouldn't wear it. There was a hole in the floor to piss in. It was freezing. I knew what I had coming later. I go to court, and another life sentence, 25 years more on top of that. For some reason I felt, well, at least there was a reason for me to have life now. Yeah, but he ended up having 126 staples on his face and head, and ended up in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.